Good morning. It's Friday, June 12th, 2026. My name is Terry Morgan, and we are here to practice Wudang Qigong. I have a couple little things I'm going to talk about real quick, and then we'll get started with class. The first one is that I had thought about not coming to class this morning. And yeah, I don't want to. And I'm tired. I'm working on a couple other things. I got backed up on some other stuff that I had to redo, and I'm tired. And I don't want to do it. And I said, well, no, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead. I should be there. And this is part of the lesson today, is that showing up does matter. That, especially for the teacher, right? And I said, well, all right, if I don't teach this class today, then I'm going to get backed up on that, and I'm going to this and that, all sorts of things. And I paid attention to that. I said, all right, I'll get out here. I'm going to teach class. So I did. I didn't realize the microphone wasn't on. I've been working on things, and I remember that I had swapped the microphone yesterday afternoon after I had finished using it, and it didn't get picked up by my streaming software. So I didn't have a microphone for the class that I just taught. Do it again. That was one of the lessons in the class, and that is one of the lessons that I'm teaching this morning. Do it again. Do it again. This wasn't right. Do it again. That was one of the things that Professor Liu used repeatedly. It was one of the few phrases in English that he had mastered. Do it again. No, do it again. That practice, I don't know if I really want to be here, but I'm going to show up anyway. That commitment that I'm going to be here, I'm going to do this. It may not be my best day, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to continue that practice. Is very, very important for anyone who practices, but extremely important for a beginning student. Beginner is going to encounter that feeling repeatedly. Well, I'm not going to tell, but I don't want to practice today. All right? And that is something that we have to, if we're going to practice, if we're going to learn, we have to learn how to deal with that. We have to. What was my method? My method was, well, if I don't, then I'm going to get backed up on that, and I'm going to get backed up on this, and I'm just as better. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Why have I decided to teach the same class mostly again? With the microphone. That's why. With the microphone. I thought about it. I recorded part of the previous class and the one without the microphone. And I could download it, I could dub it, I could do something, yeah, all right. That's going to take me several hours to do. Now, I was trying to segment things because I've already got too many hours of things that I need to work on. And I could be sitting in front of the machine at 10 o'clock tonight, still not be done. I've got that much that I need to pay attention to. So the idea of my taking another 3 or 4 hours to go back and redub what I had done, it's easier for me to stand here and teach it again. It is. The focus today is on the fourth set in Wudang Qigong. In set 3, we worked on wild goose flying. So big bird, up and down. A lot of that exercise focuses on this idea of connecting the upper and lower and rising and settling. The emphasis is on rising, not on settling. We do both, but in the exercise, open and rise and lower. Pull up, right? Pull up and rise. Raise the heels. Lower, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, sink, breathe in, open. That movement is something that we use in settling and lowering and settling. Set 4. Originally, I translated this as diagonal flying. And then I looked again at the characters and the meaning behind what we're doing. And the better translation is settling or lowering. I use settling and lowering because that's where the emphasis is. We raise through the body, and then we open both legs and settle and come back up. And then we go to the other side. And we're going to do this. I'm going to turn around and we'll go to both sides. As we practice this set, keeping the torso well supported through the hips and through the upper back. So the back stays straight. No? Yes? Bending through the legs, right? My back isn't going anywhere. My back heel, I'm on a diagonal, I'm over this leg, right? My back heel is up. I'm not down here. It's up. My weight has to come through the front leg. So my hip sits just behind the heel on the front leg, so my weight is well carried through the front leg. And if I had the strength in my torso and my leg, I could go all the way down. I'm not doing that today. I used to be able to do that. It takes a lot of strength through the center of the abdomen and across the front here at the lower abdomen so that the hips are well supported and there's a good pull through the lower part of the ribs to support the hips. That opens the hip socket so that the leg can move more freely. And with that, however strong the leg is to carry the body is what you can do to go up and down. I have not practiced that full extent of the movement in quite some time. I can talk about my practice here recently at length, but it's been a few years since I worked at that particular level. I can still do a few things, and I will probably regain some of my abilities over the next few months. But the point is, today, this is what I can do. And for a beginning student, this is beginner class, this is basics for how to study. So the assumption is this is a beginning student. What do I pay attention to? What is important? All these things. Oh my gosh, there's so many. What am I supposed to really pay attention to? Breathing. Keeping the body open. Not getting tense, not being off balance. Not using a posture or position where you can't freely move. leaning kind of thing, that kind of stuff. And paying attention to the breath connected to the movement. How is the breath connected to the movement? When do I give the instruction every time, breathe in, breathe out. That combination helps to distribute the physical breath through the whole body. It also helps to distribute the qi, the internal breath, through the whole body. And Jing and Shen and a few other things. That connection and that focus. Breathe. Connect the movement, connect the breath. That is where we need to start. At the very beginning, begin with extreme emptiness. Breathe in, breathe out. The movement is simple, straightforward. It stays right where it is. Once we start, we just keep going. The same with pushing the mountain. Right here. I'm doing this in a very small way right now. Pushing the mountain. The same with wild goose flying. It's up and down. We're in the same place. With settling and lowering, we turn left side, right side. So as I breathe in, the palms come up. As I breathe out, the palms sink down in the front. Shift, I'm shifting onto my right. Turn the left toes, open the toes. Both hands come around and come up. I'm on a 45 and settle down through the legs. Come back up and center. Shift to the left, turn to the right. Breathe in, open, settle down through the leg, and come back to center. The focus on the breath helps us with the rising and lowering. It helps to regulate the movement. And through that regular movement, we gradually connect the breath so that each movement is full and complete. We don't run out of breath. There's no huffing and puffing. There's no strain. That as we're moving, the breath is full and complete. When we stop, there's no breathlessness. I'm not out of breath because I was breathing. That's the point. If we focus on that, pay attention to that, and we pay attention to what should we do in the movement. What are the particulars for this movement? What are the particulars for another movement? The one I'm doing today, lowering and settling, and right here. This turn to the left, turn to the right, come back to the center, and breathe. That is fundamentally what we want to pay attention to. All of the other things, turn to the left, center, turn to the right, center, breathe. That's it. All of the rest of it comes along with. The more we can reinforce the foundations and the fundamentals, the easier it is to begin to understand how to work within that movement to do more. So, how do I circulate the breath in this movement? How do I develop strength to do this through my legs? Lots of questions. all of them are part of how we develop the practice. How we develop the practice is by showing up. That was my message from the first part of class. I was thinking about not being here, and then I said, well, now I need to be here, so here I am. That idea that, yeah, I need to be here, I need to practice, that the development that comes along with that regular practice. I have class scheduled, I'm going to be there. I did the same thing in college. I had classes scheduled, I'm going to be there Tuesday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, 9:30 in the morning, I need to be in this location. Monday, Tuesday, and Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I need to be at this location at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to show up. If I wasn't there, I didn't get the notes from the lecture, and it was a problem because dang, I might need those notes for the test so I could pass the course. I was motivated. I wanted to go. So I showed up most of the time. There were other times when I was teaching that I thought about not showing up and realized that no, I'm the teacher. If I don't show up, there is no class. I don't have someone I've trained that could take over. I have to be there. Here I am. That decision, I'm not going to skip class, I'm going to go. What am I going to do? Well, maybe I'm not as enthusiastic today as I could be. Yeah, this is true. But I'm here. There's that. The level of work. What should I do? What do I need to do for this exercise to be correct? What do I need to do? Whatever the exercise is, what do I need to do? What can I do? Because maybe I can't do everything. I can't go all the way to the floor today. I can't. It's not going to happen. But I can do the set reasonably well, and we're going to do this in just a second. And that is why I'm here. If I show up today and I do the exercise at some level, I will have gained another day of practice. My body will feel it. I might not intellectually think about, I know this exercise, I know this set, I know what I should be doing, I know what I should be teaching, and I'm just, I'll skip it. My body skips that day of development. It's just not there. Can't be there. It can't. It's practice. I'm going to say one more thing and then we're going to start this set. I have been, I have been working on a series of readings of my sci-fi martial arts adventure. And one of the things I've had to work on is my voice. There are any number of things that I have been doing and shouldn't have been doing, have been practicing, and need to continue to practice in order to better develop my voice and to get better control. It's really what it is, better control of my voice. So vocal cords are a muscle, have to control those. Yeah, find them and control them. Go ahead. Ask anyone who has ever worked in musical theater, music teachers, Vocal music teachers, they can talk about that at length, at very long length. How to manage the voice through the upper part of the chest and into the diaphragm so that the full range of the voice is available. It's a skill. You have to practice. One of the things that they talk about in these sets is breathing. I know a little bit about that. I know quite a bit about that, actually. Using the breath, using how we breathe, the lungs, the physical breath, is part of musical theater. It's part of Qigong practice. The physical body is what we've got when we learn to work with it. We can apply that skill to more than one art. I've talked about this repeatedly. I started with dance and I learned Tai Chi. My dance skills informed my ability to learn Tai Chi, to remember the patterns, to remember the forms, and to be able to do them. Vocal exercises, Qigong exercises, help with breathing. If you're doing something that requires you control your breath, Qigong is a good set to work with. If you're doing something that is just fundamentally normal, you just want to improve your lung capacity, Qigong is a very good thing to practice. This is set 4, rising and lowering, settling and lowering. As I shift, right, open, left, left, open, right, that turn is on the 45. I'm going to turn around to do this because in a manner similar to what I talked about with the first set, begin at extreme emptiness. Ladies, right hand on the outside, gentlemen, left hand on the outside. In all of our side-to-side practice, we start on the left. So it would mean that I have to start on my right in order to give you the ability to follow me and start on my left. If you're watching me, I have to mirror what you're looking at. That feels odd to me. So I'm going to turn around. I'm going to do the first 2 sets slowly, paying a lot of attention to the particulars for each of the movements. Then I'm going to do 2 more sets a little more quickly, not fast, a little more quickly, with a focus on the breath. Feet about shoulder width apart, stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Pull up through the torso. Breathe in, palms up along both sides. Breathe out, press down. Sink down, settle. Shift onto the right, both hands open at the hip. Turn the left toes to the 45. The fingertips drop down, the arms rise up. Settle, sink down, connect the hip to the heel, keep the body well centered between the legs, open to the right, and lower. Weight over the right leg. Come back to center. Settle. Shift to the right. Open left. Rise up. Pull up through the torso as you bend the knees. Settle. Come back to center. And shift. Open to the right. Rise. Lower. Hold through the body. Don't lean. And come back to center. Pay attention to the breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hands down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Cycling the breath, connecting the breath clearly with the movement, paying attention to what we're doing in the movement. That combination is what we're looking to develop. Those connections and the strength that we need to develop through the lower body, through the torso, through the spine, and through the legs, as well as the flexibility through the hip, gives us the ability to extend this movement further. So in theory, and I used to be able to do this, I mentioned this before, in theory, as we settle down here, I go all the way down. And I keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, all the way down. I'm not doing that today. What can I do today? Not that, I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to go all the way down. I can't do that today. I might be able to do that in 2 or 3 months if I practice for it. I have the skills. I know what to do. I could do it in that short a time. There are some things, if you haven't already learned how to do that, it's not a recall process. It's I need to learn this new process, and that takes longer. It's not difficult, but it just does take longer. That recognition, what can I do today? Maybe today, and I'm going to show this real quick, for set 4, settling and lowering, maybe all I'm doing is this. It's a much smaller movement. I'm not fully opening my arms. I'm opening them, but it's not quite what it should be. It's open, it's okay. That small constrained movement is still fundamentally correct. It's not as open. Here, this is open. This is very open, right? This is not. But it has a similar quality, the idea behind open. Okay, it's not closed, right? The extent of that movement can be improved. And remember, it's not bring the arms up with the shoulders, right? The shoulders have to stay down. So this arm movement, that can be improved with time and practice. It's being here, right? The extent of the movement, lowering and settling, can be improved with practice. We have to practice, right? It's not something that we can know and then be able to do. It's something that we have to develop the muscles and the coordination to be able to do. That recognition that this is developmental, it's not instant learning, is something that a beginning student particularly needs to come to terms with, because that the expectation of being able to do something instantly just because I know it or because I've been introduced to this is incorrect. I would like to be able to play Chopin on a piano. I don't have a piano and I can barely play scales. I just, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to practice enough to be able to do it. I'm not. Reading, working with my voice, paying attention to my breath. Oh, yes, I'm absolutely going to do that. I'm working on that. And I'm getting better at it. There are all sorts of things that I've learned through trying to develop that reading voice that inform my speaking voice, that inform my breath. You have to be able to breathe while you're reading, while you're speaking. You do. That coordination and what happens with the breath make all sorts of difference to the way in which something is read, and they make all sorts of difference to the way something can be understood. That same technique is something that I use frequently in my presentations too. This is what we're doing. We're paying attention 1, 2, 3, and we're paying attention over here 4, 5, 6, and now we're 7, 8, 9, and we're going to finish up in just a minute. Those points and paying attention to how we learn. We can't learn everything all at once. We can't. There has to be some way to break it down into pieces that we can learn. We can build on that, but we still have to do that in a way that we can absorb, we humans can absorb. Okay? That development depends on the person, depends on the teacher, depends on practice. Being present, doing something, even if it's not the best day for you, doing something. And I'm going to do this 2 times. I'm going to back up here a little bit, facing the camera here, just so you can see from the front side. Breathe in, breathe out. Shift, open, and breathe out. There was a breathe in there, I just didn't say it. Breathe. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. One more time. And breathe in. And breathe out. 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 One more time, breathe in, and hands down along both sides, pull up through the crown of the head, breathe out. Sink and settle. Cycle the breath one more time. And relax. And I talk about these things from time to time. We're almost done here. I talk about these things from time to time. I lost my balance. I did. That side. First set. What happened? What happened? My hips were not well supported, and my placement for my right hip was off. I was not in the right place. That's what happened. I fixed it the second time. I did. Understanding what you did, this is a little bit more than what I intended to present this morning, but that happened. So, understanding what you did, knowing what you are doing. I have to know what the exercise is. I have to know what I'm supposed to do. I have to know what I can do. I have to also know what I'm actually doing. What did I do? How can I fix that? Well, pay attention to supporting the hip and keep the hip and shoulder in good alignment. That's how you fix it. Knowing that, I just instantly was able to make the correction. That's something that a beginning student has to learn. Being able to understand what you should do, what you can do, what you are doing, and make those comparisons is how we develop our skills. It's not rote learning. It's not, I just memorized that, so now I can do it. We have to really work at that development. It comes in shorter time, longer time, depending on the individual. We still have to work at it. We still have to show up, and we still have to practice. I appreciate you being here with me this morning. Thank you.